Hi, my name is Florence Milliken and I'm one of the professional liaison consultants in the Health and Care Professions Council. In this video, I'll be giving you an overview of the changes in the HCPC's updated standard of proficiency on the theme of equality, diversity and inclusion. So firstly, a quick recap about the updated standards of proficiency. The HCPC standards of proficiency have been revised and the updates come into effect on the 1st of September 2023. The standards of proficiency are the professional standards all HCPC registrants must meet. In the updated standard, some changes apply to all of the 15 professions we regulate, while others only apply to specific professions. The changes have been made to enhance the current standards and reflect the reality of practicing in today's healthcare landscape. The key changes can be grouped into 5 themes: equality, diversity and inclusion, further centralising the service user, registrants' mental health, digital skills and new technologies, and leadership. Across all the changes, the wording that they use has moved away from a passive understanding of the standards and towards an active implementation of them. So what has changed on the theme of ED&I? Well, the HCPC's updated standards of proficiency have strengthened the considerations of the previous standards regarding ED&I. Registrants must now recognise the impact of culture, equality and diversity on practice, and practice in a non-discriminatory and inclusive manner. So this includes doing the following: respond appropriately to the needs of all different groups and individuals in practice, recognising this can be affected by difference of any kind, including but not limited to protected characteristics, intersectional experiences and cultural differences. Understand equality legislation and apply it to their practice. Recognise the potential impact of their own values, beliefs and personal biases, which may be unconscious, on practice, and take personal action to ensure all service users and carers are treated appropriately with respect and dignity. Understand the duty to make reasonable adjustments in practice and be able to make and support reasonable adjustments in theirs and others' practice. Recognise the characteristics and consequences of barriers to inclusion, including for socially isolated groups. Actively challenge these barriers, supporting the implementation of change wherever possible. And finally, recognise that regard to equality, diversity and inclusion needs to be embedded in the application of all HCPC standards across all areas of practice. So what does this mean for registrants? Well, registrants are required to understand and respond to the diverse needs and perspectives of service users. Registrants are now specifically expected to identify when a service user's care needs to be adjusted because they have a protected characteristic. And instead of waiting for a service user to raise the need for accommodations, be proactively thinking about how to make the care they offer as accessible as possible. Many registrants will have a compassionate intersectional approach to the care they provide already. However, there are always improvements that can be made and reflection that can bring benefits. So what do HCPC registrants actually need to do? From the 1st of September onwards, all HCPC registrants will need to meet these standards as far as they relate to their scope of practice. Before then, we recommend that registrants dedicate some continuing professional development time to making sure that any gaps between the standards and their current practice are filled. And the gap analysis tool on the HCPC website is a good starting point for this. The questions you might reflect on are: is my training in ED&I up to date? Do I make a strong effort to understand my individual service users and what's unique about them? For example, culture, religion, sexual orientation. Do I have the courage to engage in conversations to understand what other factors may be influencing a person's experience of healthcare? Is the service I offer responsive to the needs of the people who are accessing it? Is everyone able to access my service? What work have I done to understand and mitigate my unconscious biases? What checks and balances could I implement in my workplace to formalise inclusivity? So in summary, we've looked at what has changed in our updated standards around equality, diversity and inclusion. And if you're a registrant, I would now invite you to look on our website for the details of the updated standards and the support available. And you can also download the gap analysis tool to develop your next steps.